Laptop open, task clear, brain completely frozen. I used to sit there for hours, not working, not relaxing, just stuck in this weird, guilty limbo where I knew exactly what to do, but couldn't make myself start. And the worst part? I'd tell myself, just do it, stop being lazy, which only made it worse. Then I learned something from a procrastination researcher that changed everything. It's called the 3-minute rule. Sounds almost too dumb to work, but there's actual neuroscience behind it. And I'm going to show you why your brain fights you when you try to start, and the exact trick to win that fight. Okay, real talk. We've all been told procrastination is a time management issue. Just make a better schedule, work harder, be more disciplined. But here's what researchers have actually found. Procrastination has almost nothing to do with time management. Dr. Tim Peichel from Carleton University spent decades studying these, and here's what he discovered. Procrastination is an emotion regulation problem, not a laziness problem. Here's what's actually happening in your brain. You think about starting that task. Your brain immediately runs a prediction. How uncomfortable is this going to be? And if it predicts discomfort, even just boredom or mental effort, your limbic system basically hits the panic button. It pushes you toward something easier, something that feels good right now. Instagram, snacks. Let me just organize my desk first. Anything that gives you a tiny hit of relief. But here's the kicker, and this is important. Your brain is terrible at predicting discomfort. It massively overestimates how bad a starting will feel and completely underestimates how good you'll feel once you're actually doing it. So you're stuck in this loop. The task feels massive. Your brain is screaming danger signals. And now you're not just dealing with the task, you're dealing with guilt, shame, and that voice going, "What's wrong with you? Why can't you just do this?" Sound familiar? But what if the problem isn't you? What if it's just that you're trying to start the wrong way? Here's the rule, and I want you to really hear this. When you're avoiding something, commit to doing it for exactly 3 minutes, not 30, not until it's done. 3 minutes. And here's the part that makes it work. After 3 minutes, you have complete permission to stop. No guilt. No, you should keep going. You're done. You tried. That counts. Now I know you're thinking, 3 minutes? That's nothing. How does that solve anything? And that reaction, that's exactly why this works. Because the hardest part of any task isn't doing it. It's the 10 seconds right before you start. That's where all the resistance lives. That's where your brain is throwing everything it has at you to make you do something else. But once you're actually in motion, once you've written the first sentence or put on your workout shoes or opened the document, the resistance drops dramatically. It's like physics. An object at rest stays at rest. An object in motion stays in motion. The 3-minute rule works because it completely removes the pressure. You're not committing to finishing. You're not committing to doing a good job. You're just committing to 3 minutes. And 3 minutes feels safe. It feels doable. Your brain stops screaming danger because the stakes are so low. And here's what happens about 90% of the time. You start, 3 minutes pass, and you realize, oh, this isn't actually that bad. So you keep going, not because you forced yourself, but because momentum carried you forward. You tricked your brain into starting, and starting was the only hard part. Let me show you what this looks like in real life. Example 1, writing. You've been staring at a blank document for 20 minutes. The cursor is blinking. Your brain feels foggy. Every sentence you think of sounds wrong. So instead of sitting there, drowning in that feeling, you set a timer for 3 minutes and say, I'm going to write anything for 3 minutes, even if it's garbage, even if I delete every word later. You start typing. First sentence is clunky. Second one doesn't quite work. But you keep your hands moving, and somewhere around minute 2, something clicks. The ideas start flowing. The fog lifts. You look up and realize 15 minutes have passed. You didn't need motivation. You just needed to get past those first 10 seconds. Example 2, working out. You get home from work exhausted. The last thing you want to do is go to the gym. You've already made a deal with yourself. I'll go tomorrow. But then you remember the rule. You tell yourself, I'm going to put on my workout clothes and move for 3 minutes. That's it. After that, I can come home. You do it. You get there, you start moving. And 3 minutes in, you think, okay, I'm already here. I'm already moving. Might as well do a little more. 20 minutes later, you finished a full workout. Not because you felt motivated, but because you made starting so easy that your brain stopped fighting you. Example 3, cleaning your room is a mess. You've been ignoring it for a week. Every time you look at it, you feel overwhelmed, so you just close the door. But today, you try the rule. I'm going to pick things up for 3 minutes, just 3. You start, you grab a few things, put them away, and something interesting happens. The space starts looking better. You feel a tiny sense of accomplishment, and before you realize it, you've been cleaning for 20 minutes and the room is done. See the pattern? The rule works because it removes the mountain. You're not climbing Everest, you're just taking 3 steps. And once you're stepping, you realize the mountain was never that tall to begin with. Now here's the part most people miss. And this is what makes the 3-minute rule more than just a productivity hack. It's about rebuilding trust with yourself. Think about how many times you've said, I'm going to do this today, and then didn't do it. Maybe you had good reasons. Maybe you were tired. But every time that happens, you're sending your brain a message. I don't keep my promises to myself. And over time, that erodes your self-trust. You stop believing you're capable of following through, which makes starting even harder, which creates more guilt. It's a vicious cycle, but the 3-minute rule flips that. You're not promising to finish. You're not promising perfection. You're making a tiny promise you know you can keep. And when you keep it, you're building evidence. Evidence that you're someone who does what they say they'll do. And that evidence compounds. Even if you stop after 3 minutes, which is totally fine, you still moved the needle. You still broke the avoidance cycle. And tomorrow, it'll be a little easier to start again. But here's the secret most people don't realize. The resistance only exists at the beginning. Once you're in motion, staying in motion is easy. You just have to get past that first moment. One last thing before you try this. The 3-minute rule works best when your environment isn't fighting against you. Before you start those 3 minutes, close the extra tabs. Put your phone in another room. Clear the clutter from your desk. Remove the friction. Think of it like starting a fire. You don't just throw a match at a pile of wet wood and hope for the best. You set up the conditions first. Dry kindling, a clear space, no wind. Same thing here. If you're trying to focus while notifications are pinging and YouTube is 1 click away, those 3 minutes won't work. You need a clean runway. Set yourself up to win. Then use the rule. All right, here's your challenge. Right now, think of one thing you've been avoiding. Could be work, could be personal, doesn't matter. And sometime in the next 24 hours, try the 3-minute rule. Set a timer. Commit to 3 minutes. Give yourself full permission to stop after. I'm telling you, the hardest part is deciding to start. But once you do, you'll see that the resistance was never as real as it felt. Procrastination isn't about being lazy or broken or lacking willpower. It's your brain trying to protect you from discomfort. But here's the truth. The discomfort of avoiding something is always worse than the discomfort of just doing it. So stop waiting for motivation. Stop waiting to feel ready. Just start. 3 minutes. That's all. And drop a comment below. Tell me what task you're going to try this on. I'll be reading every single one. I want to hear how it goes for you. You've got this. Let's build within